Hello everyone, welcome to the session. Good evening. How are you feeling today? Let's wait for about 2 minutes. Let everyone join in and then we start off. All right? Let's wait for 2 minutes. Let's wait for 2 or 3 minutes. Let everyone join in. Come on, everyone, join in. 2 more minutes. Then we start off. All right, just about a minute more and then we start off. Come on, 30 more seconds, then we start off. Almost there. All right, welcome to Unacademy, India's largest online learning platform that gives you a world of courses, resources, content, live and recorded sessions to help you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and intermediate examinations. And also welcome to Crack CA Exams with Us, which is a vertical and channel of Unacademy that caters to the students of CA Foundation and intermediate in their journey and pursuit of preparation for the CA Foundation and intermediate examination by providing top educators, quality content, and overall a great learning experience. So come, let's crack CA exams with Unacademy, India's largest online learning platform. Also, before we start, let's introduce the speaker. Hello, I'm Prathik Gupta. I'm a Master of Commerce from Christ College, Bangalore University. I'm an Associate Member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, an Associate Member of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, an Associate Member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India, and also a law graduate from Karnataka State Law University. I'm currently a practicing Chartered Accountant and also a visiting faculty for CA subjects and an educator for CA students, both offline and online. Prior to starting on my own, I worked with SR Bartley Boy and Associates, that is the Indian member firm of Ernst & Young Global in the Audit and Assurance Department. Then I went on to work with Ernst & Young India in the Mergers and Acquisitions Department. And then finally, I went on to work with the Manipal Group in Bangalore as the corporate controller of their Indian entity as well as the German subsidiary located in Frankfurt, Germany. It was only after I got back from Frankfurt that I decided to start something on my own. And that gave me an opportunity to become an educator, which also gave me the opportunity to take this session for your young, bright, and enthusiastic CA aspirants. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I hope you find the session useful. Anytime during the session, in case you have any questions, queries, observations, or discussions to be made, please do not hesitate to drop in a line, and I will be happy to take up the matter for problem solving or for discussions as soon as I can. Also, I'd like to bring your attention to my name, which is Prathik. Now, why I'm stressing and insisting on my name is because a lot of people miss the H in my name, because of which they are unable to find my sessions on the Unacademy Learning app as well as the YouTube channel of Unacademy. So you can look me up by my name, that is Prathik Gupta, Prathik Gupta, and you'll find the hundreds of hours of sessions on YouTube channel as well as the Unacademy Learning app in the form of special classes and YouTube sessions, which will benefit you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations. Now, like I told you, the Unacademy helps you in your preparation for. Thank you, Abhinav. Thank you so much. Very sweet of you. Thank you. Okay. Like I told you, Unacademy caters to you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate through 3 channels: YouTube, special class, as well as the Plus platform of Unacademy, which is the premium platform of Unacademy. YouTube and Plus and special classes are absolutely free, but they provide immense amount of value and resources to help you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations. YouTube is what you're watching right now. You need to just go to YouTube, type in Prathik Gupta, and you will see all my sessions there. Special classes are available on the Unacademy Learning app, more about which I will be telling you a little further. Now, in this slide, I will talk about the Plus platform of Unacademy, which is the premium platform of Unacademy, and which has a payment-based subscription model and which has various subscription packages for your benefits. More about those packages in the following slide. Now, in this slide, I will quickly tell you as to why I encourage and recommend you to become a part of the Plus platform of Unacademy as soon as possible. The first reason why I recommend and encourage you to become a part of the Plus platform of Unacademy is because of the daily live classes it conducts, where you get to chat with your educator, engage in discussions, ask your doubts and answer polls, all this while the class is going on. The second reason why I recommend and encourage you to become a part of the Plus platform of Unacademy is because of the live tests and quizzes which are conducted by the Plus platform of Unacademy on a regular and periodic basis, which help to evaluate your preparation, and the regular mock tests and quizzes and get a detailed analysis of your performance. The third reason why I recommend and encourage you to become part of the Plus platform of Unacademy is because of the structured courses it provides, as all the courses provided on the Plus platform are in line with your exam syllabus to help you best prepare for it. And lastly and most importantly, why I recommend and encourage you to become part of the Plus platform of Unacademy is because of the unlimited access it provides to you, where one subscription gets you access to all our live and recorded courses to watch from the comfort of any of your devices. So keeping all these advantages among many others in mind, I strongly recommend and encourage you to become part of the Plus platform of Unacademy as soon as possible. All right? Any questions? Please ask me. Now, you might have heard me talk about live and recorded sessions, right, in the previous slide. So let me tell you, and for those of you who have not yet downloaded the Unacademy Learning app, I request you to go to the Play Store on your mobile phones, download the Unacademy Learning app, install it on your phones, put in your mobile number where you will get a note on the Unacademy Learning app. It is as simple as this, with no lengthy or complicated procedures. Now, you might ask me, what do you get once you register and download on the Unacademy? Access to all the live and recorded plus courses that Unacademy has to provide to you in order to help you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations. All right. So keeping this in mind, I request you to download and install the Unacademy Learning app on your phones. Put in your the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations. All right. So keeping this in mind, I request you to download and install the Unacademy Learning app on your phones. Put in your mobile number using the OTP, register on it, and start making use of the world of resources that Unacademy has to offer to you to help you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate. All right, so let's look at an introduction. The way they simplify our lives and make us comfortable, business facilitators do the same for business. We rationalize their need in the context of complexities associated with pursuing business as an occupation, career, vis-a-vis a well-defined employment and not so complex professional practice. One may argue that since auxiliaries or aids to trade, such as banking, insurance, transport, warehousing, to ease the doing of business, these should also be referred to as organizations facilitating business. Yes, these are. All the auxiliary to trade comprise an important layer of business facilitating. Comprise an important layer of business facilitator. Let us situate all these as an intermediate layer. In this layer above, one who would like to place on such policy making and executive agencies as the Reserve Bank of India, the Securities and Exchange Board of India, Competition Commission of India, and such regulatory developmental agencies such as Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority (RDA). One may also envisage a layer of facilitators below that we may refer to as the point of contact layer. Together, these may be regarded as comprising what may be defined as business facilitation system. So just to mention to you, business facilitation system is a system which facilitates the business. Facilitation means enables, encourages, or accelerates the business. It helps the business, okay? So like yesterday, we saw a lot of policies like restrictive policies, governmental policies, preventive government policies, as well as facilitating policies, right? So this is something like the facilitator, that who enables or helps the growth of the business. Okay? All right, please take a minute, go through this. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask. Please take about a minute. All right, let me know once you're done. Okay, so point of contact, POC. Business facilitators help the business in several ways. Consider the following illustrative list only. Freight forwarder, a person or company who organizes shipments for the business firms to get goods from the manufacturer or producer to a market, customer or final point of distribution. Note, freight forwarders network with shipping companies, airlines, railways and roadways and origination, transit and destination ports and warehouses, all auxiliaries aids to trade to provide logistics support to the business. Okay, so please remember, who is a freight forwarder? A freight forwarder is again a facilitator to business. That is a person or a company who organizes shipments for the business firms to get goods from the manufacturer to producer to a market, customers or final point of distribution. Note, freight forwarders network with shipping companies, airlines, railways and roadways and origination, transit and destination ports and warehouses, all auxiliaries aid to trade to provide logistics support to the business. So freight forwarder is a person who forwards or ships the goods of the manufacturers to the main market or the consumer or the final point of distribution. So these are the people who facilitate business. Now please remember, if the manufacturer or producer does not forward his goods to the main producer or marketer or consumer or final point of distribution, then in that case, how will his sales happen? So these facilitate the business houses to sell their goods. The second example, a business incubator helps create and grow young businesses by providing them with necessary support and financial and technical services. And a business accelerator helps a budding business quickly launch a product and put it in the fast lane of commercial success. So let's take another. What do you mean by a business incubator? A business incubator helps and grow young business. An incubator is like it's in context of a child, a baby. So a new company is normally opened up in an incubator. Incubator means an environment which facilitates the growth of these young companies and grow young businesses by providing them with necessary support and financial and technical services. And a business accelerator helps a budding business quickly launch a product and put it in the fast lane of commercial business. So this is also kind of a business facilitation process. A financial consultant who advises the business on various sources of finance, domestic as well as foreign, debt as well as equity, short-term as well as long-term, and helps in mobilize its requirement too. It may be noted that merchant bankers, financial consultants are not themselves the financing institutions, the auxiliaries or aids to trade. So this is a brief example of a few of the examples of business facilitator services. Please take a minute, go through this, and then we proceed. Okay, please take a minute. Any questions, please ask. Yes, Alpana, this is 2021. Yes. Business facilitators in financial sector. Business facilitators are intermediaries such as NGOs, farmers, clubs, cooperatives, community-based organizations, IT-enabled rural outlets of corporate entities, village knowledge centers, agri-clinics, agri-business centers, Krishi Vigyan Kendras, and individuals like insurance agents, retired bank employees, teachers, etc. for providing facilitation services. Such services may include identification of borrowers, collection of preliminary processing of loan applications, including verification of primary information data, creating awareness about products, providing advice on managing money and debt counseling, processing and submission of applications to NABARD Financial Services Limited, promoting and nurturing self-help groups, joint liability groups, producers groups. Now, these are the business facilitation centers, business facilitators in the financial sectors. Now, what are the kind of services the business facilitators in the financial sectors provide? Firstly, what are the kind of business facilitators in the financial sector? They are intermediaries like NGOs, farmers, clubs, cooperatives, communities-based organizations, IT-enabled rural outlets of corporate entities, village knowledge centers, agri-clinics, agri-business centers, Krishi Vigyan Kendras, and individuals and other things. What are the kind of facilitation services they provide? Identification of borrowers, collection and preliminary process of loan applications, including verification of primary information data, creating awareness about products, provide advice on managing money and debt counseling, processing and submission of applications to NABARD Financial Services Limited, promoting and nurturing self-help groups, joint liability groups, producers groups. Okay, please take about 2 minutes and let me know. Please take 2 minutes, go through this. Any questions, please ask. Any questions, please ask. Any questions, please ask. Any questions? Please ask. Please take another minute. Any questions, please ask. Please take 30 seconds, go through this. Any questions? Please ask. All right. Then part of the business facilitators and financial sector, the other functions are post-sanction monitoring and hand-holding of self-help groups, joint liability groups, credit groups, producers groups, etc. Follow-up for recovery. However, they shall not engage in cash handling, including disbursements, collections. Okay, so these are the other functions that business facilitators in the financial sector provide. Business facilitators may be distinguished from business correspondents, who may be defined as banks in person. These individuals and entities actually provide banking and financial services. Obviously, for this reason, business correspondents are more closely regulated than business facilitators, who do not engage in the banking and finance business in the sense of handling deposits, repayments, etc. All right, so again, these are facilitators, right? So they do not actually carry out the banking functions, but they act as intermediaries in the banking sector. All right, please take 2 minutes, go through this, and then we proceed. Any questions, please ask me. All right, take a minute more. Any questions, please ask. Take about a minute more. Any questions, please ask. Anyone? Ten more seconds and then we continue. Okay. Now, government as a facilitator business facilitator. So in the last slide we saw business facilitators in the financial sector. Now let's quickly have a look, as even the government can act as a business facilitator. Now, as we understood, the term business facilitator is someone who helps you expedite or helps you with a particular process, does not do the process for you but helps you out with a particular process. That is what you mean by a business facilitator. So when does a government act as a business facilitator? In the preceding chapter, we have seen how the government policy is a powerful and pervasive determinant of business activity. There is barely any sphere of business and commerce that is not affected by the government policy. India's freedom fighters did not merely fight for political independence of India. They had a long-term vision of India's economic development. Okay, the Union government came up with the Industrial Policy Statement in 1948, barely a few months after independence. In 1951, the Union government enacted the Industries Development and Regulation Act, that is the IRDA Act. The IRDA entrusted the government with the responsibility of ushering in economic development via industrialization in India. The Industrial Policy Resolution of 1956 provided for the respective roles of the private sector, large industries and small-scale industries guided the growth of business in India for more than 3 decades. Initially, the public sector enterprises were to command the industrial development in India. So like we saw yesterday, in terms of liberalization came in only during the 1990s. from 1950s to the mid 1980s, it was mainly the capitalist economy that we had, and it was dominated by the public sector undertaking. So even then, the government did act as a business facilitator by bringing out various industrial policies, the IRDAI, and the other various policies which helped in facilitating the businesses through the public sector. All right, please take a minute, go through this. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask. Please take a minute. Any questions, please ask me. Take a minute, please. Any questions, please ask me. All right, shall we proceed? Okay. The role of the private sector was limited to the production of consumer goods. However, as the economy got stronger with time, the other wherewithal of facilitation of private businesses, example, initially the development banks, the industrial estates, and later a developed capital market, etc., took shape. The private sector has grown from strength to strength. In this context, the new economic policy of 1991, which is better known as LPG or GPL policy, that is the policy of liberalization, privatization, and globalization, is regarded as the watershed development and business facilitation in India. So, like we discussed yesterday, from the 50s, 1950s to mid 1980s, we had the capitalist economy, okay, where public sector undertakings were dominant. But from then on, from 1990 1991, a new liberalization policy was introduced, wherein a mixed economy, that is capitalist and socialist economy, was introduced in India, and where liberalization, privatization, and globalization was given a push in order to develop the economy. The government facilitates business not only via formulating business-friendly policies, but also by creating institutional apparatus for the implementation of those policies. In the preceding chapter, you have learnt about the policies. In this chapter, you will focus on the institutions. Like I said, in the previous one, we spoke about the various policies, right? The capitalist economic policies and the mixed economic policies. Please take about 30 seconds to 1 minute. Go through this. Any questions, please ask. Any questions, please ask. Please take a minute more. Any questions you have, please ask me. Come on, anyone? Any questions? Another 30 seconds more. Okay, then non-funding institutions for business facilitation in India, that is the Indian regulatory bodies. Okay, so these are all non-funding, so it's not related anything to do with banking or banking financial institutions, but still there are certain regulatory bodies that provide business facilitation in India. Okay, so let's have a look at them. The institutions such as the Reserve Bank of India, which is the central bank of the country, the Securities and Exchange Board of India, which is the apex body of securities exchanges, and the Competition Commission of India, which is the rule setter for fair play in business, provide the supreme context of business facilitation. Then there are industry-specific business facilitators too, such as the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, and the like. These institutions do not invest in businesses and as such are called as non-funding institutions. In addition to a broad general description of their roles and functions, our emphasis here would be on the respective roles as business facilitators. Here it could be pertinent to mention that there are several other non-funding institutions that facilitate businesses right from pre-formation to product and process testing, training of manpower, and a hosting of business extension services. All right. So now, what do you mean by a non-funding institutions for business regulatory facilitation in India? It means those authorities that do not invest in businesses but only regulate them, and that's why they are known as non-funding institutions for business facilitation in India. Now, what are the kinds of non-funding institutions for business facilitation in India? Let's have a look. Firstly, we have the Reserve Bank of India, or the RBI as we call it, and that is the apex body that regulates the functioning of the banks and banking companies in India. So, whether be it any bank, be it SBI, ICICI, HDFC, Punjab National Bank, all these banks have to be registered under the RBI and they come under the regulation of the RBI. So, RBI regulates or facilitates them to do their business in India. Similarly, the Securities and Exchange Board of India, also known as SEBI, the SEBI regulates the securities exchanges and securities exchange operations in India. That is, the purchase and sale of shares and securities on the recognized stock exchanges, all governed by the regulations of the SEBI. So these are all non-funding. They do not invest in any companies, but they regulate or help them in carrying out their business. Then you have the Competition Commission of India, which helps in setting a fair play in businesses. That is, there is no monopoly and no business house particularly takes advantage of the other. Similarly, you have IRDAI, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority. All companies carrying on insurance business in India have to be registered under IRDAI and be regulated by their provisions. Similarly, all telecom companies, like you have your Airtel, Vodafone, and other things, all of them have to be registered with TRAI, that is Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, and follow the regulations. So what do these do? These institutions do not invest in businesses and are such called as non-funding institutions. In addition to a broad general description of the roles and functions, our emphasis here would be on their respective roles as business facilitators. Here, it would be pertinent to mention that there are several other non-funding institutions that facilitate businesses right from pre-formation to product and process testing, training of manpower, and a host of business extension services. So these are few of the services that are provided by these non-funding institutions in India. Please take 2 minutes, go through this. Any questions? Please ask me. Any questions, please ask. Please take a minute more. Any questions, please ask me. Take a minute more. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions? Please ask me. Any questions? Such schemes as Make in India and Startup India for furthering and facilitating Indian business. Okay, please take about 2 minutes, go through this, and then we proceed. Any questions? Please ask me. Any questions? Please ask me. Please take a minute more. Any questions? Please ask. Take about 30 seconds more and then we proceed. Any questions? Please ask me. Any questions? Please ask me. Okay, now let's look at each of these bodies. Reserve Bank of India, RBI. Introduction. The Reserve Bank of India was established on April 1, 1935 in accordance with the provisions of the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. Though originally privately owned since nationalization in 1949, the Reserve Bank is fully owned by the Government of India. The central office of the Reserve Bank of India was originally established in Calcutta but was permanently moved to Mumbai in 1937. The Reserve Bank's affairs are governed by the Central Board of Directors. The board is appointed by the Government of India in keeping with the RBI Act. So this is a brief introduction about the Reserve Bank of India. The Reserve Bank now again, like I told you, all banking companies are regulated by the Reserve Bank of India in accordance with the provisions of the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. Though originally privately owned, since nationalization in 1949, the Reserve Bank is fully owned by the Government of India. The central office of the Reserve Bank was initially established in Calcutta but was permanently moved to Mumbai in 1937. The Reserve Bank's affairs are governed by the Central Board of Directors. The board is appointed by the Government of India in keeping with the RBI Act. Please take a minute, go through this. Any questions? Please ask. Any questions? Please ask me. Please take 30 seconds more. Any questions? Please ask me. Any questions? Please ask me. Please take about a minute more. Okay, let's proceed. Now, what is the role of the RBI? The Reserve Bank of India is the central bank of our country. It occupies a pivotal position in the Indian economy. Its role is summarized in the following points. First one, the RBI is the apex, that means the topmost monetary institution of the highest authority of India. Consequently, it plays an important role in strengthening, developing, and diversifying the country's economic and financial structure. Secondly, it is responsible for the maintenance of economic stability and assisting the growth of the economy. Third, it is India's eminent public financial institution given the responsibility for controlling the country's monetary policy. It acts as an advisor to the government in its economic and financial matters. It also represents the country in international economic forums. So the Reserve Bank, like I told you, is the apex body in terms of banking business in India. All banks in India are supposed to get registered under the RBI, and consequently it plays an important role in strengthening, developing, and diversifying the country's economic and financial structure. It is responsible for the maintenance of economic stability and assisting the growth of the economy. So RBI also contributes in the growth of economy by taking various credit measures or monetary policies, like we saw yesterday, right? Fiscal policies, monetary policies. The monetary policies are governed by the RBI. It is India's most eminent public financial institution given the responsibility for controlling the country's monetary policy, like I told you just now, and it acts as an advisor to the government in its economic and financial policies, and it also represents the country in the international economic forums. Okay, so these are a few roles of the RBI, which we will continue with more in the next slide. Please take a minute, go through this. Any questions? Please ask me. Any questions? Please ask. Take about a minute. Okay, please take a minute more. Any questions? Please ask me. Okay, then let's continue with the role of RBI. It also acts as a friend, philosopher, and guide to commercial banks. In fact, it is responsible for the development of an adequate and sound banking system in the country, and for the growth of organized money and capital markets. So it acts like a friend, philosopher, guide for the other banks. All the other banks are supposed to register and report to the RBI. Okay. India being an emerging economy, the RBI has to keep inflationary trends under control and to see that main priority sectors like agriculture, exports, and small-scale industries get the due credit at cheap rates. So one of the other ways of maintaining inflation in the country is to obviously take care of the monetary policy by increasing the flow of credit into the economy, by cutting the flow of economy, by cutting the flow of credit into the economy. It also keeps a check on the inflationary trends, and the RBI is also responsible to see that proper credit at cheap rates goes into the priority sectors like agriculture, exports, and small scale industry. It has also to protect the market from government securities and channelize credit in desired directions. Okay, so these are the role of the RBI. Now let's quickly look at. Hi, Jay Gandhi. Hi, Omkar. Hi, Omkar. Yes, CA Foundation, Business and Commercial Knowledge. Yes. Okay, now let's look at the functions of RBI. The preamble to the Reserve Bank of India describes its basic functions as to regulate the issue of banknotes and keeping of reserves with a view to securing monetary stability in India, and generally to operate the currency and credit system of the country to its advantage. So one of the main functions of the RBI, as per the RBI Act 1934, is to regulate the issue of banking notes. That means to control how many notes or currency is issued into the economy, and with a view to securing monetary stability, that is inflation or deflation, and generally to operate the currency and credit system of the country to its advantage. So basically the money flow into the country is always regulated by the RBI, and also it has the responsibility to see that the proper credit, like we spoke earlier, goes into the priority sectors at cheap rates. The Reserve Bank of India, being the central bank of India, performs all central banking functions. All right, please go through this, take a minute, and then we proceed. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask. Any questions, please ask me. Okay, in case you're done with this and there are no questions, we will be stopping the session at this, and we will continue tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. All right, thank you so much for being a wonderful audience, and I will see you all tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Take care, good evening, and see you all tomorrow.